Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of our brand new series called Two Hearts Technique Talk. I'm so happy to bring this to you as it's been a passion pit of mine, and just looking forward to answering your questions about dance technique and any requests that you have. You are more than welcome to send to me. My name is Leanne. I am the founder and owner of Two Hearts Dance and Yoga, and it is my honor to come to you and chat with you and just be real about how important technique is for dancers, for movers in general. Many of you know I have been teaching dance for almost 20 years now, which is crazy to say. And I've been teaching yoga for about 7 or so years. I have taught dance from children who are 4 and 5 years old to adults to seniors, to those who have special needs, to military veterans, to those who have Parkinson's. I love to work with all different groups of people and bring movement and dance to them in an accessible way. And I continue to make that my purpose, and hope that you will join me in continuing to create more opportunities in your communities as well. But I've been teaching yoga for a few years now. I am a registered yoga teacher, experienced registered yoga teacher. I'm on the track to get to the 500 mark, 500 hours of teaching. And I've also gained my certifications in trauma-informed yoga, in chair yoga, in prenatal yoga, and also in restorative yoga. And I hope to continue to expand my reach with yoga and all the wonderful things it can do, add an alternative for those who need it. So I'm just happy to bring this to you finally as a way to really connect and talk about dance technique more specifically, but also technique as just a mover in general that you can apply this knowledge to. I wanted to expand my vlog, previously known as Heart to Heart, where I interviewed some of my favorite and most influential movers in my life during the pandemic. It brought a sense of community during a time where performers and artists needed some inspiration, and it just brought me together with some of my friends I haven't talked to in a long time. It gave me a chance to share their expertise with you and to really connect as a community during a difficult time. So special thank you to all of my previous guests who took the time to sit down with me to share their stories, and also the viewers who were so engaged and had questions and continued the conversation. I appreciate that. Now I am sort of doing a spin-off all about technique. It's so important that we continue to build on our technique as dancers and as movers, something every dancer can continue to work on. Dance is one of those things where it doesn't matter if you just started yesterday or if you've been dancing a lifetime for over 30 years like myself. It will always be challenging. There will always be something more to learn. Let's be real, it's a challenge for me to even bring this to you. Although I've been teaching dance for almost 20 years now, explaining technique without moving, you can see me kind of moving my hands in place of it. And dancing is a challenge for me, but I want to challenge myself, and I want to encourage you to continue to challenge yourself to get out of your comfort zone and to make movement something that's a priority to you on every level. So I appreciate you being with me during this time, and I hope to expand a small group technique this fall. You'll hear more about that in the newsletter coming out, but would love to do a Two Hearts technique, turning technique training, because it has been just in popular demand for some of my students. So I hope to be able to connect that dot with you by bringing more technique and more specialized classes and more access to technique. So stay tuned and let me know if you're interested. As some of you know, I recently took the position as a dance adjudicator for a big national competition alliance, the Star Dance Alliance, and I am so grateful for this opportunity to help shape the dancers of tomorrow. I grew up dancing. Most of you might know I grew up dancing in the competition circuit. I remember going to Star Power. I remember training and, being on the stages at dream makers and big competitions like that. And now I get the opportunity to be on the other side of things. I thank my studio owner and lifelong mentor, Miss Grace, and the teachers at Gracie's Guys and Gals Dance Studio in Southern Maryland for instilling that background in me. I think back to my studio home and the countless hours of rehearsing and traveling for nationals, and how much dedication it took for our team to continue to just bring talent to the stage. Now I get to be on the other side of the table, providing feedback to hundreds of dancers that I have the pleasure of watching, and I just look forward to another season with the Star Dance Alliance as we get into competition season. But it gives me a chance to bring another light to things, right? To be able to have that experience of seeing so many dances and seeing so many dancers take the stage and seeing what the industry is doing and what shape it's taking right now. It gives me the opportunity to bring the things that I'm seeing to you and to perhaps help you in creating your dances, in becoming a better dancer. So that's what I hope to do. This episode is all about practice. I'm talking about practice, right? Allen Iverson's famous quote, Allen Iverson, the Philadelphia 76ers player from way back when I was younger. How you show up at practice is how you will show up when you perform. How seriously do you take your practice? Plan it, perform it, practice. I see dancers wait until the last few minutes of a class to go full out, when in actuality your body has already created the muscle memory to do just a mediocre job when you're doing that. So when you do decide to do something full out, your body's going back to that muscle memory of mediocreness because you weren't ever putting from the start. I know when I see dancers not going full out, marking things when they should be, my eyes go away from them. So make sure that you are always going full out. A lot of times dancers think that they are going full out on stage. A lot of times I see dancers performing and I know they can give more. I know they have more energy. I know they can give more effort, but they're not going full out because they never practice full out. Sometimes it's a matter of space, right? If you are practicing a production number in a small space, you don't really get the chance to go full out. So I always encourage choreographers or dance teachers or studio owners, make sure your kids are actually being able to go full out with their space. Maybe you don't have the space in the studio. Take your dancers outside into a parking lot. Take them outside. Make sure you're marking off where the stage dimensions are so that people can stay within the limits, but also dance full out. It's so important when it comes to competitions. It's so important for just performing in general. Everything that you have when you learn it, we want to see that you can finesse the movement as you go and make it yours. Then when you look back, you can be like, man, I need to book this dancer because he or she is a beast even while learning. So we're watching, we're seeing it, especially my dancers who are going to auditions and thinking that you're just learning something and no one's watching you. The judges are watching you. The people, the coaches, the people around you are watching you even as you're learning. So make sure you're putting all of that energy into it. Listen to me when I say this. Go full out. One thing about practice is consistency. Make a plan. How often are you dedicating time to your craft? Are you sticking with that plan? It becomes muscle memory and routine to your body. You would be surprised how much your body will stick with it and your brain will continue to play out that movement the more you continue to dance full out. I think of my college dance professor at University of Maryland, Giselle Mason. She would whip us into shape with conditioning exercises during class and ask us to hold everything onto our last bit of energy after doing a dance. What is it that you're holding on to? So even when you're tired, you're sweaty, you feel like you can't go anymore, what are the things that you're holding on to? Holding on to your core, making sure you're consistent with your movement quality, making sure that you're consistent with your spatial awareness and making sure that you're moving through the space where you need to be. How can you create that consistency and the quality around your consistency? By holding on to the things that are most important. So holding on to your posture, holding on to your core, holding on to your performance qualities and your facials and the texture that you're adding to the space. Keeping that consistent with your practice is going to help you so much. So make a plan. Maybe it is conditioning before you start to do your dances. A lot of top athletes condition before they even play. So as a dancer, you are an athlete and you need to be doing the same thing. Quality. Now you can practice something wrong for hours on hours. So make sure you are focusing on the quality and the precision of doing that movement. Go back to the basics. Go back to the things that you learned as a foundation. Go back to your ballet bar. Go back to your tendus and your battements and your making sure that you're turning your feet out properly from the hip, making sure that your posture is all connected and that you're stacked up. Creating that quality is going to go a long way. And with dance, especially, and something I mentioned at the beginning, you can be, you could have learned dance yesterday or 30 years ago. Going back to the basics is so important in keeping that quality going for your technique. Play back the tape, watch yourself, and know how to self-correct. That's how you become an expert in anything. That's what the best athletes are doing. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, you don't want to watch yourself. I get it. But the more you can watch yourself, the more you can see where you might be losing your quality, where you might be losing your technique, where you're not holding on to something. And you can really drill down and help yourself, right? A lot of times we rely on our dance coaches, our dance teachers to give us those corrections in class. But if you're not self-correcting yourself and identifying what you need to be working on to improve your technique, then it's not going to connect as well with your body, right? So making sure that you're playing back the tape, watching yourself, recording yourself, set it up at your home if it's more comfortable. Record yourself and then watch it back and take notes on your performance qualities. Take notes on your technique. Take notes on the moments where you think you can give a little bit more. Take notes on the moments where you think you can give a little bit less. Sometimes we might be giving too much in a certain moment. So I really encourage you to act like an athlete, because you are one, and make sure to watch yourself and self-correct. Lastly, ask for feedback. Ask people what they think. Other dancers, your teachers, even non-dance people, friends, family, kids, can really help you pinpoint the things that are going to make you a better performer. Chances are, if it's not entertaining to your family, if it's not entertaining to a kid that you know, then it's not going to be entertaining to a general audience. I think about dancers who dance on Broadway, dancers who dance in big arenas, maybe pro cheerleaders, NBA dancers like myself. I used to be an NBA dancer. I think about those big moments where you're able to project your energy and you're able to connect with people from a distance. So really think about that when you're asking for feedback, because if you want to think about it as if you are, that dancer on stage or that dancer in an arena, and you're performing to the people all the way up in the nosebleeds. Are you entertaining them with your facials? Are you entertaining them with your performance qualities? Are you entertaining them in general? So think about that and how you can project your energy outward and make your movement big enough for people to see from a distance. And then if you're asking people for feedback, like friends or family, let them be honest to you. Ask them if you were entertaining, because at the end of the day, it's not always about the fact that you may or may not hit that triple turn. It's not always about the fact that your technique was perfect during your, you know, your dance. It's really comes down to, are you entertaining? Are people delighted to watch you? Are you putting on a show? So I challenge you to find that feedback from the people around you, because they're going to be the most honest when it comes to if if you're performing at the level that you want to be at. All right. And that's where I will end today. Technique Talk, our first episode. I'm so happy that you joined me today, and I look forward to expanding on all of these topics that I talked about today. We talked about practice and how important it is to be consistent, to bring that quality, to play back the tape, to really dive into watching yourself like an athlete would, and to ask for feedback. And I'm always happy to give feedback. So please, if you have any questions on your own dance technique, have any suggestions for topics for our upcoming episodes, I'm always happy to hear them and would love to incorporate what you are most concerned about into this technique talk. So I thank you so much. Leanne from Two Hearts Dance and Yoga, signing off on our first episode of Technique Talk. I look forward to bringing this to you at least once a month, and can't wait to hear from you and all the wonderful things that you are doing to improve your technique. Thank you.